24 minutes past 8 is the time. Well, next this morning, Joe, if you were to ask an expert in diesel emissions technology whether they'd have a petrol, diesel or electric car, given the choice, what would you expect them to say?
Oh, well, electric, surely. Don't know.
Diesel, if he was in diesel, I'd say. When we asked Jonathan Wilson from Loughborough University, well, we were quite shocked by his answer.
Electric.
So the new ones go sort of 250 miles quite easily now. So if you plug in and charge at home, you'll never run out of fuel. So I have an extension lead running out the front of my house.
Seriously? Because if you park on the street, I mean, this is the logistics, isn't it? You have to think about. If you're parking on the street outside your house, fine if you've got a garage. But if you're on the road, you're going to literally have to run a cable out, aren't you?
It is very difficult. There are lots more public charging points for people who do it. And for years, I could only park on the road and only charged at work. And I was lucky enough to have charge points on campus.
So, well, with everybody talking about this, if you've got a man there in diesel emissions technology saying he'd drive electric, it seems that more and more people are opening their minds up to electric vehicles. James Coates is an electric car enthusiast and joins us now. James, morning to you first of all.
Morning.
Come on, how good are these cars then?
They're fantastic. They are actually really, really very good. And we always try and encourage people to drive them. We think that once you've driven an electric car, there's really no way back.
How far? Give us a bit of a grasp on this. How far can you go in one charge in a car?
So if you look at the next range of electric cars, which is coming out, I'll give you an example. The Hyundai Kona, that's just come out. That's given a range of around about 300 miles. So quite a long way. That's from here. That's into the sea, into France. You know, it's a long way.
That's a lot. Cost is another thing. How expensive are they?
So that's a good point. They're coming down now. If you wanted 300 miles 5 years ago, you'd be looking thousands. I mean, 50,000 upwards. Nowadays, that sort of price has come down to around about 33, I think, for the Kona. That's and it's always coming down. It's quite a steep curve downwards, so it's always benefiting the consumer. Sorry, you look like you can say.
No.
It's always benefiting the consumer. So, and you've always got to factor in your overall running cost. People don't look at it like that. They look at initial outlay, but when you look at the cost of owning an EV over 5-10 years, it all of a sudden becomes a lot more attractive.
What about second-hand electric cars?
Yeah, so that's a really good point as well. Second-hands are fantastic. The prices are now creeping upwards because they're becoming very popular. But for example, the car that I've brought today, which you've seen, is a Renault Zoe, and that particular car was £5,000. So that in terms of a package is fantastic. And to charge it, if you charge it at the right sort of time of night, you can charge that for £1.60.
£1.60?
£1.60. I mean, that's less than, a coffee?
Seriously, £1.60?
Yeah, £1.60.
I'm shocked by that, because the car that you've shown me is a sporty-looking number.
Yeah.
It looks... you never guess it's electric.
No.
It's a really lovely looking. I don't know if in my head I thought, they were going to be like something from Back to the Future or what. But it's a great looking car. Was it a 15 plate? I think so. It's not very old.
That one's a 65.
So not very old. £5,000, £1.60 a night. Why aren't we all doing it then, Joe?
I think people have the misconceptions about how far they can go, what happens if they run out, how are they going to charge it, all the normal things, and that's what we're trying to get through to people, that it's really not as bad as they think. It's just getting people to make that jump. What
about charging? Right, I've got to ask you about this. £1.60 a night. Now, I was joking on Friday and spoke, when I said to Jonathan, I said, right, have you got a big extension, wire that runs out your garage and underneath it and plugs in?
Yeah.
And he said, yes, actually, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Is that the case of it, just plugging it into your mains and off you go?
You can do that. That is the slowest way of charging. So there are many different ways, that being the bottom. And normally we say to people, if you're charging like that, you need to expect that you're going to be taking a while. It's not going to be a quick thing. However, there are rapid chargers popping up everywhere, and that particular car there will charge to about 80% in 20 minutes. So there are other ways of charging. It's not simply an extension lead out the window. Also, when you buy the car, you get a grant from the government. You can have a charger installed at home, and that type of car will charge at about 3 hours. So zero to full. So it's not as slow as people think, and it happens while you're in bed. So you get into bed, you wake up with a full charge, you press a button on the key, turn the heater on from your window, or you do it through an app, and then you get in your nice warm car and you drive off.
Is it a case that we need to educate, or you need to educate people further, do you think?
That is it. People do need educating in a non kind of condescending way. They just don't understand. So we often get people saying, what's it all about? And we just give them a car. We just say, take the car, have a go, have a drive. And that is usually the point where they say, that's amazing, I had no idea. So,
can we go out for a day?
Me and Kate have talked about this, and we said we need to get AD in a car. So you choose the car, we'll grab one. There'll be lots of people who would be more than willing for you to drive their car, I'm sure. Yeah. And then we can come back in and you can tell people what you think.
Oh, we've got to have a go at that, Joe. I mean, the other thing is that last week, James, we had a leading supermarkets put in 2,500 charging points.
Tesco?
Yeah. Are we going to see? Well, the ones are available. Every little helps. Is it a case that we're gonna see more of these? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. But it's really critical to remember that most people will not use those. I mean, Tesco's in Hinckley, which is round the corner from where we live, fantastic. But we just charge at home. There's no point going there. And if you've got a car like the Kona or something with a 300-mile range, you're definitely not going to go there.
Very briefly, there's one thing that I saw on your YouTube channel. You took an electric car from Aberdeen to Hinckley. Yeah. How can people watch that? How can they get more information? If you just
follow us on YouTube at James and Kate, and everything will come up there, or on Twitter at James, Kate and Florence. Can I just mention a few other people, if we've got time? There's some really, really important people out there. If you go on Twitter, at 106 Ewan, he's a battery chemist, so he knows everything about battery technology. He'll quash any ideas that you might have. At eco-cars.net, if you're looking for a second-hand car. At Plug-in Adventures, if you want to see somebody who drove Nissan Leaf across a Mongol Rally, 10,000 miles. And she's electric, and she's a real EV advocate. So get on those Twitter channels, have a look at those, and that's where it's all happening.
What a man. James Coates, thank you very much for joining us on BBC Radio Leicester this morning. The time now is just a little bit after 8:30.